What's going on, guys? In this video, we are going to talk about this baby right here that I'm super excited about. This is the Westside Barbell Reverse Hyper Scout. Check it out. So this is a piece of equipment that I'm super excited about, that I have been trying to get my hands on, I'm going to say for almost a year. Now, I have gone in and out of bouts with serious lower back pain. And I'd say, excluding the last 3 months, there was about a year span where it got so bad. And I just felt like I was just going to be dealing with consistent lower back pain. And all I could do was little things to mitigate the amount of pain. And just be able to keep myself mobile in certain workouts and just kind of deal with it. Then I started just kind of taking on a bunch of different mobility exercises and stretches and recovery methods, and found kind of a sweet spot to fix all the different issues that I was dealing with. On that journey, what I came across was reverse hyperextensions. Now, I had to doctor the way that I did reverse hyperextensions, mainly because I couldn't get a reverse hyper machine into my gym or my home gym. People new to the channel know that my home gym basically exists in my business. I moved my home gym into my business, and so it's my home gym. Anyway, there's no space for a reverse hyper, nor could I really afford a true full-on reverse hyper. You're looking at $1,000, $1,200 to like $2,000. So I discovered the Reverse Hyper Scout, which was created by Rogue Fitness along with Westside Barbell. Now, Westside Barbell is Louis Simmons' gym, and the Reverse Hyper was actually created by him, and he owns the trademarks to that. Ultimately, the story is that Louis Simmons broke his back. You know, he's a power lifter, pretty strong dude, and he broke his back. And to rehab his back so he could get back into powerlifting, he invented the Reverse Hyper, and he was able to rehab, heal, and strengthen his back using a Reverse Hyper machine, which is what has made it a very popular machine, especially for lifters. Being an athlete, I understand the benefits of the Reverse Hyper, and I also lift. So this is something that I really need, especially again, when dealing with the back pain that I was having. So being unable to get a full-on Reverse Hyper, and then the Reverse Hyper Scout was sold out. As anyone remembers last year, you could not get your hands on anything, all the way down to simple bands and barbells and dumbbells. So these were just not available. So I found a way to get some reverse hyper extensions done. I'll put a card up here, but I started using like a plyo box with a pad, doing them off of a bench, where it worked, and you'll see in the video how I do them. And from a home gym perspective or makeshift perspective, it was effective, but the missing component was being able to get my legs all the way down, which we'll talk about the need for that as far as the benefits of the reverse hyper. But anyway, the way that I was doing it, I believe it was strengthening my back and my glutes and my hamstring, but it wasn't getting the other aspects that the reverse hyper is, as far as the height of the reverse hyper is pretty high, and it's pretty big for a reason. It's so that your legs can swing underneath. So let's talk about the benefits of the reverse hyper and why it's something that I wanted and why it's something that a lot of people use and have in their gyms. The idea here is that the reverse hyper can strengthen and rehab your back. Now, let's take the rehab portion out of it, ultimately because it has kind of been disproven. So the benefits are that it strengthens your posterior chain, your lower back, your glutes, and your hamstrings. Once using it, what I really learned is that it really shines in that aspect. And also in the sense that it really develops, it's good for glute and hamstring development, which is a huge thing for me. And lastly, it is great to develop your hip extension strength. So just those three things: strengthen your posterior chain, glute and ham development, and of course, helping with hip extension. Given what I do in martial arts and strength training and functional fitness, those are things that are very important to me. And I learned that by doing reverse hyperextensions, getting those things strong really helped fix my back. Now, when I say fix my back, I don't think it fixed the issues in my back. I think that was done through all the other type of recovery means that I was using. But I think that while I was doing all the recovery, mobility, and stretches and stuff that was healing or getting my back lined or however my back recovered, by doing reverse hyperextensions, I was strengthening my back at the same time. And that brings me to my last point as far as its benefits, is injury resilience. So the reverse hyper's ability to strengthen your posterior chain, your lower back, your glutes, and your hamstrings, and you can kind of become a little more resilient with regards to potentially injuring your lower back, or in my case, re-injuring your lower back. Now, two other claims that exist for the reverse hyper are spinal decompression. I guess they're the same thing. Spinal decompression or spinal traction. The difference being is spinal traction is when force helps release tension in your spine, and spinal decompression is when you're able to loosen up and decompress your spine. The claim on the reverse hyper is that when your legs swing underneath, when you're in that position, is that it does some spinal decompression there. Now that is what's debatable, because several people have done videos and tests and stuff and has said that that is a myth. Now, as far as if it does or it doesn't, I don't really care, because that's not what helps me. What I feel I've gained from having a reverse hyper now is just, again, really strengthening my posterior chain. Okay, so what about the product itself? This reverse hyper scout is the perfect product for a home gym. Some of the complaints on previous reviews are that when you put a lot of weight on the reverse hyper scout, because it's not as heavy as standard reverse hypers, it does shift. Now, I have not had that issue yet, but I don't put a lot of weight on the reverse hyper. I put a good amount of weight, but I don't go super heavy. Again, I'm using this, I go between 8 and 10 reps. So I'm not using heavy rate where I'm doing like 6 reps. This is not a powerlifting or strength training move for me, okay? This is something that I can keep at a moderate weight. That said, when I'm using it, it doesn't move at all. The best part of this scout is that it folds up neatly, and I just put it up against a wall. It takes up no space when it's put away. It's very easy to take down and put up, and the assembly was so simple. Of all the pieces of equipment I've gotten in my home gym or commercial gyms, anyway, any piece of equipment I've ever had to put together, I'll even say this dumbbell rack over here, any piece of equipment I've had to put together, this was probably the easiest piece of equipment that I've ever assembled. When I first was looking for this a year ago, the Rogue was sold out. And so I put myself on a wait list. So this is my knock against Rogue. I put myself on a wait list to be notified when they had these back in stock. And it went from like May of last year to like the first quarter of 2021, and it just was still out of stock. And so I just made do. Finally, on a whim last month, I just checked Rogue's website. You periodically pop in and check, and they had them. And so I was pretty upset that I wasn't notified that they were in stock. Other businesses like Concept 2, I was put myself on a waiting list for a ski erg, and as soon as they had them, they immediately notified me and asked me if I wanted to purchase one. So for me, that is a red mark against Rogue. Anyway, I was very excited to get the reverse hyper. As soon as I saw it was available, I made sure and I placed the order. It runs at about $399, I think total between tax and shipping and everything. I believe that my final price was $450. Now there are some handles that you can purchase for $30, some additional handles. At the time, I did not see the purpose for buying those handles, but as I started training some of my students and clients, I realized that not everyone can reach these further handles, so that's why those handles are important. I just thought, like, I don't know why I need an additional accessory, $30 for accessory handles, but I will be ordering those handles now. So, $450, reverse hyper scout. Again, it's great for a home gym as far as space savings, as far as money savings, and the build quality is there. So I do understand why Westside Barbell put their name on this product. Listen, if you've been wanting a reverse hyper, or if you've been wanting to look for means to strengthen your lower back, this is the way to go. Understand, I am not a doctor. I am not a physical therapist. I'm not any of those things. I'm just somebody who has dealt with those issues, and through multiple means. If you go onto my channel, look into my videos. I have a lot of different ways that I go about keeping my back strong. And now that my back is strong and I don't have that pain, I'm talking debilitating pain in my lower back, I'm just doing everything I can to stay ahead of it as far as keeping it strong and also keeping it loose and just doing all the recovery that I need to do. But I will say that this is one of the most important things that I have that will keep me on track with that. All right, guys, thank you for watching this video. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe so we can keep this thing going. I appreciate the support. Remember, keep fighting for fit, no excuses, and I'll see you guys in the next video.